In China, about 1 million new cases of TBI each year. That is not exactly, but approximately more than 1 million. And about 100,000 die each year. And the traffic accident is still #1 cause of TBI. More than half, around 50 to 60% of the TBI patients. And the CENTER-TBI China program started in 2015. And Dr. Mars is there, and we started at the opening ceremony of the head trauma forum every year, and finished in 2017. Only 2 years, we totally finished the data collection. And actually, before we do the CENTER-TBI data collection, I got the fund from the Chinese Health Ministry, 3 million for the China Head Trauma Data Bank from the, I think, 2008 to 2012. And part of the data published in injury, and finally, whole data published in Chinese Journal of Neurosurgery. And we make the 2 head trauma data. One is from 2008 and 2012, and now this is for the CENTER-TBI, 2015 to 2017. The patient, 13,000, and this time also more than 13,000, I think so. But I got the data, 12,800, but now Angel Mars told me it's more than 13,600, only 2 years. And total time cost 50 months last data bank, and now only 20 months you're finished. And we can make some brief comparisons of 2 data. One is first data is 70 cents in China, and now this time this data 54 cents John. The age is the Chinese data bank and the CENTER-TBI is age almost closes, 42 and 48. The gender, male, the percent of the 73%, 74%, almost the same, even the 6 years difference. But GYS age, about 23%, and at the time 18%. CT scanning, system and shift, you can, total about 12.9, and let me, this is a system, the one side of the both sides, you can see about 12%. Here's a different scan. Okay, sorry. And the GCS and NASA, 23% at the first one and 18%. And the CT abnormality, you can see the first, the data bank in China is head trauma only 12%. And this time much higher. And for TSH, yes, it is a Chinese data bank is 50%, and now this time that's 72%, very high. It's a surprise to me. So 70%, over 70% TSH. And the contusion you can find also. Oh, here, see the epidural hematoma and acute subdural hematoma, about 30% and 31 plus 7%. And it is acute subdural hematoma, almost 30 and 50. At the time, maybe higher. Only half of patients have acute subdural hematoma. Seems really higher. I don't know compared to the European data. I think much higher. See the CT abnormality. Mortality, sorry. And the mortality. 8.6, and then at this time only 4.6%. But look at the GCS. Here the 20 less than 8, the 22%, here only 18%. That's maybe reasonable. The mortality is lower. You can understand. And the discharge you can find in China different, and the majority of them, I think nothing at home. And return home, and only maybe is 30% and return home. So we hope, in China, the traditional way, most doctors, neurosurgeons still experienced medicine. They just use their experience to treat a patient. Evidence-based medicine is just new, maybe only a couple of years now. Then, we need to learn evidence-based medicine. Now, much changed because Andrew Mars, Jeff Manley, and a lot of the experts to China to give the education and tell us how important we treat the patient based on the evidence-based medicine. So we now change it also way. We now a lot of the RCT also in China now. For example, long-term hypoxemia. This short-term hypoxemia doesn't work from the Guy Clifton's USA, also from European. The hypoxemia doesn't find any effective or improved outcome. But according to the brain edema, high ICP, maybe less than 5-7 days, especially for severe contusion patients. So we would like to keep the hypoxemia until the ICP return to normal. So usually 5 days. So we like to see whether or not long-term hypoxemia does improve the outcome. We don't know, but 14 centers now working on almost 3 years now. And more than 180 patients enrolled, finished. So we hope to total finish 300 severe TBI with contusion and high ICP, and all received decompressive cranialectomy. We have a lot of very strict criteria. So now working on we needed to know whether it works. But the second the RCT now we working on the Dr. Guoyi. He is leading that we use a right medial nerve stimulate whether or not to promote the awake of the coma patient. But now also more than 20 centers joined this RCT studies. And as other RCT working on, we are to analyze the ICP-related measure, including waveform, PRX, RAP, to analyze ICP-related information through artificial intelligence methodology. Anyway, so Chinese neurosurgeons appreciate the opportunity to cooperate with global colleagues and to strengthen our interaction in the future, especially the CENTER-TBI. I hope maybe your INTER-TBI, TRACK-TBI. Anyway, we'll put the Chinese data in your study, because I always know the 1/4 of TBI patients happen in China, whole the world, right? Definitely 1/4, 1 million TBI patients each year, new cases. But the mortality, mass nerves only about 30%, not too bad for severe TBI. That's national data. So we need to know which method does work, which may not. Even on the RCT, no drug, nothing to improve the outcome. But it means always in China, I tell them, neurosurgeon lost work. Because DC doesn't work, RCP doesn't work, hypoxemia doesn't work, and all drug doesn't work. Means if the severe TBI enter to the hospital and the neurosurgeon didn't work, just let the neurologist to give the mannitol and saline and let him die or survive. If the RCT is correct, but I don't think so. So we still need to ICP monitor. We still need to DC to prevent high ICP to save patients. That is what we hope to do. Thank you very much for your attention.